Hello and welcome to Place by Mahmoud. And today's our guest is Jacquie Doucette, and she's an amazing podcast host and has a great perspective about life. So I'm very sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Uh, yeah. So for our listeners who don't know you, can you please tell us a bit about your journey and how did you become to like what you are today?
Sure. I'm really happy to be here. And for those of you who don't know me, which is probably pretty much everybody, um, I come from a long line of employees. Our motto, our credo was that in order to be successful, you have a good education, you get a good job, you have a family, you work until you don't work anymore, and you retire. And that's the way life was supposed to go. But I thought it was different. And as I watched people as I got older and followed that track, getting a good education, getting a family, getting a job, I watched people start to retire and they didn't seem to know what to do afterwards. And to me, it's not the end of the road. It shouldn't be the end of the road because you've got 20 or 30 more years to go afterwards. So I started thinking about it and I thought that, maybe we need some help. Maybe people need something to do to show them that you don't retire from your life, you retire to a brand new place. And that's what got me started thinking about it and got me looking for something. And there's nothing online that tells you what to do past retirement. It tells you there's lots of people that show you what to do financially, how to prepare for retirement, but not what to do once you get there. So I thought that that would be a good place to start, and that was my idea of beyond retirement as a kind of a goal for people.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, you're absolutely true. Like most people are going through life just as it is, but no one is planning ahead. Like just life is just this. So they're going to school and then they're working and they're just that's it.
Yeah.
Like yeah, nothing else. Like yeah, absolutely. So like how did you start it beyond retirement?
Well, it actually started as just a podcast, and that was really an accident. I was helping somebody out by being in the audience while he did some training, and at the end of the training I had the content all laid out for this podcast for a year. So I figured, well, I might as well start the podcast. And so I started talking about what my journey was going to be and how I was going to get beyond retirement and what I was going to do. And from there people started asking me questions about how to find out, how to figure out what they wanted to do. And I just kind of grew little bits and pieces of my programs and my identity, I guess, from there, just sort of building on the idea that everybody has something to share.
Absolutely. Like everyone has their own piece of story and their own piece of puzzle, and that makes up
Exactly.
those that actually makes up the whole society.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So when did you started it? Like how long before it was?
I started the podcast in May of 2019. So it's coming up on 2 years now.
That's 2 years is pretty long for a podcast. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Many people just like start podcasting and then just leave it like as it is.
Yep. A lot of people, you find that in a lot of podcasts, they do 6 or 7 episodes and then that's the end of it. But I've been doing one every week. I even did a period where I had two each week for a while. So I've gotten 3 seasons out of it. So I'm up in the hundreds in episodes. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Absolutely. Like two like doing two a week is like pretty hard. Like very hard.
It was.
I, yeah, absolutely. So can you tell me about a huge like a big mistake or that you did in life?
Oh, that's hard. I mean, I've had lots of mistakes, but it nothing really messes everything up because it doesn't matter what the mistake is. Something good can come out of it if you look at it properly and you sit down and, take it apart. So I don't know. I really don't have any huge mistakes. I'm afraid
Yeah,
unless you
that's
count picking the wrong thing to study in university. Maybe that was a mistake, but again, it got me where I am now. So it's not a mistake.
yeah, absolutely. Like you share a great perspective because here because many people also like I see that you're a very positive person, because many people think that choosing a wrong subject is like the end of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And it's
Like,
not.
yeah, it's not. So it's just part of the process.
Exactly. I mean,
Exactly.
you read things like that all the time, that people say, um, there are so many mistakes along the way to an invention, but they're not mistakes. They're just the wrong answer to getting the answer you want. They're just the wrong road, and you find the right road. So it's not a mistake. It's just a detour.
Yeah, absolutely. So like these are just road bumps that, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. We, if you're going to a very long journey, there will be road bumps, and if you
Yep.
want to reach a place where which is like very amazing, truly
That's
amazing
right.
and worthwhile, there will be there will be a number of bumps in the road.
Exactly. There has to be. I mean, if there aren't bumps in the road, you're not trying hard enough, I think. You've got to, you've got to have some problems in order to grow, in order to, learn anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what was like your was there any turning point in your life that you decided that this is what I was doing, but I don't want to do this anymore, like, and I just completely shifted your way, like, or turned the way you did things.
Um, I guess the biggest shifting point or changing point for me is changing from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, because I'm still working on getting away from being the employee, but the plan is step away from it completely and, take life as it comes and go with the ups and downs, because there is no security in having a job all the time. We've seen that in the last year or so, that, jobs aren't secure, nothing is secure. So I think, the biggest jump is trusting yourself and moving out into something unknown.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. What hurdles that you face did you face in the journey, like from turning from being a self-employed to an entrepreneur?
The biggest hurdle,
Yeah.
probably the biggest hurdle is trusting myself, trusting my instincts, believing that I can do something, because I've always had, um, a boss. I've always had someone setting up guideposts for me, telling me what I need to do next and how I can accomplish that. And I can mark success by gaining those, different goalposts. And as an entrepreneur, when you're out on your own, you have to set the goals. You have to decide what's going to happen. And, that's the biggest thing, I think, is the biggest hurdle, is trying to pick what you want your goals to be, and making them far enough so that you do have to work to get there, but attainable still. And a lot of people, I think, fail because they set their goals way too high at the start, and then they feel like a failure because they didn't get to that high spot that they were hoping to, instead of saying, okay, well, maybe this month I'll go here, and build on that success, and build yourself up so that your ego doesn't get flattened right off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, like I completely agree with that, because like the value of small steps actually, because taking a big leap is extremely hard
Yeah,
and it takes time. Like, and one thing also, like, you reaching that goal is possible, but it just takes time, and it's just not in one step. It's just
exactly.
going slowly and progressing to that destination.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a thing. Maybe I just missed the word that you said. Like, not missed the, like, I forgot the word that wanted to use. Mm, yeah, just leave it, because like I'm not able to remember the word. Anyway, so, like, how did you decided to, like, how many steps, or let's say like, how did you decided that this was the amount of steps, or like this is the goal? Like, how do you set the goal on the first step? Like, how did you set the first milestone, or like what's your long-term goal, or versus the first step?
Okay. The way that I plan things out is, I figure out what it is I want to accomplish, and then I step backwards. So I take one step back and say, what is the thing I need to do right before I accomplish that goal? And then I work back until I get to the step that I can take now, which for a realistic example is, I want to be an international house and pet sitter. So I want to travel the world looking after people's pets in their homes. So I have to get myself out there so that people know me. I can't just say, hey, I'm a pet sitter and expect someone to let me into their house. So I have to, create a website or a profile at least of, of the things that I've done and the testimonials I've got. And I've got to lay it all out so that it's attractive to people. And I have to get the testimonials, and I have to find people to house sit for first in order to get those testimonials. And the first step I have to take is decide I'm going to do it. And then I have to, advertise. So I have to make an ad to put out so that someone will see it and say, hey, I want you to be my pet sitter. And then, each step you take gets you towards the next step. So you just work your way backwards to the step that you can take.
Yeah, that's,
I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah, absolutely, it absolutely does. Like, yeah, like everything else, like always start from the end, because
Yeah,
yeah, and then just divide the roads, and just take I say backwards till the time you reach where you are. And
exactly.
yeah, and that's how everyone should plan. They're like, plan how they want to reach that goal.
Exactly. Because I mean, the first step is huge to go from where you are now to where you want to end up. I mean, no one can do that in one step.
Yeah, I even personally made that mistake because I wanted to make a big jump, but it takes like it takes some time to understand that that's not how things work. And yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
because like you absolutely need to take a few steps, few small steps, even before you do a, a bigger step. Like if you take a bit bigger step, you need to take some small steps. You have to get more experience or knowledge, let's say,
exactly.
to even reach that final goal. Because when you are at the end of the road where you, let's say, you want to be, you reaching there will take a lot of experience and knowledge, right? And you
Yep,
learn throughout the way.
exactly.
Absolutely, like yeah, that's really amazing. Because yeah, absolutely, like I'm pretty sure like people who are listening to this also messed up things, like who are planning like very big, but did forgot the importance of small steps.
Yeah. I mean, it's not mistakes to try to take the big steps. You learn things from that, but you also learn to step back and take a smaller step.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing amazing that said, that's like if you take a big step and fail, you learn that you need to take small steps.
Yeah,
So like even then when you just aim to like take a big jump, you learn that you need to take small steps. So if a person who doesn't know this is also a part of the process.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I just remembered the word that was hitting my mind. That was like, what's your perspective about entrepreneurship and ego? Like what a person has to do to let go of his ego to become an entrepreneur.
I think I think it's important to hold on to your ego, but not to inflate it. Like, you have to have a healthy respect for what you're capable of, and think that you can do something. But you need to let go of the idea that the way you're doing it is the best way or the only way, and you're the best at it, because you're going to run into walls all the time if you don't shut that down a little bit, because everyone going out to start off doesn't know everything. That I don't know if that didn't make sense, but when you're starting out, you don't know everything, even though you think you've got the right idea and you know where you're going. And if you hold on to your ego and let that guide you, you're not going to listen to the people along your path that have tried the things that you're doing and have made the little mistakes along the way. So you need to be able to turn it off sometimes and say, maybe I need to listen to somebody else. But at the same time, as you're turning it back, you have to still have the courage to say, I can do it. But you need to know when you need help in doing it.
Absolutely. Especially when people are just starting out, they completely miss that point, that thing, that they forget that they're even the biggest or the most successful people need help with doing what, like the other things. They
Yeah,
need help to reach that next step
exactly.
of their life. And for like people who are just starting out, like this is like a big, let's say, lesson for them, because they don't know, because they think they know everything. So they must be able to do what they want to do. They must be able to accomplish what goal they are trying to like reach. Let's say they want to create new products, like they want to like market new product, then they just can market like releasing the market and people are gonna buy. Yeah. Yeah, but
Exactly.
yeah, though that confidence is really good, but you have to step back for some times and just say, yeah, I think I might need help. Like, let's say what bad will happen if I take help? Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the pros and cons. Like, so I listen to a little bit of advice. What's the worst thing that could happen? I decide not to take that advice, but it doesn't hurt to listen to it first.
Yeah, yeah, actually. For me, I think this is the biggest mistake people make when they're starting out. But what about you? What do you think what's the biggest mistake other people make when they start?
Um, I think what I've seen a lot is people think that they're going to be successful too fast. They're expecting results really quickly, and they get really discouraged if they don't make money right away, or if their plan doesn't go the way they wanted it to, and they've been working for 3 weeks, and how come it doesn't work, and how come I'm not making money, and because they don't see, the common joke is that John Smith was an overnight success, but you don't see that he worked for 10 years to get there. You just see the overnight success part. And they seem to think that, if I can't do it like that, then I'm going to quit. And they quit right before it could be good.
Yeah, you never know, like when that overnight comes. It might be
Yep,
tomorrow. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
so I think that the biggest mistake people make is quitting too soon.
quitting too soon, because no one knows when that overnight is.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, like as you mentioned that you want to be like an international pet sitter. Yeah. So why do you want to become an international pet sitter?
That was just an example. That's just one of the things. But I want to be an international pet sitter and house sitter because I think it's a fabulous way to get to see the world. So by living in other people's homes and looking after their pets for them, you get to be part of their community. You get to see what's going on instead of living in a hotel the way the tourists do. You get to see the real neighborhood, the real country that you're living in. And I think that's a fabulous way to see the world and interact with the locals wherever you happen to be.
Okay, that's a really good way to travel the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool way. So like, are you a cat person or a dog person? Let's say.
I'm I don't know. I have a dog and two cats.
Uh
If I had to make the choice, I'd probably pick a dog, but cats are more independent, so you can leave them alone if you have to, but dogs are more cuddly. So it's hard to say.
yeah, true. Yeah, like cats can really come with like close to us, but they're
Yeah.
amazing. They're amazing as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so like a month back, I guess, a few months ago, like not a few months ago, a few days ago, I was in like another city, where I had like four dogs in front of my house, and I have like around 20 cats for like in my home. Uh, so yeah, that's a bit a good situation, you can say.
Yep.
Uh, yeah. So like, how many cat like like what's the most number of cats or dogs you had at a time?
Um, the most that I've ever sat at a time was three dogs, actually. So not too many at a time, but three's enough when you're trying to walk them all.
Oh, yeah, yeah. With dogs, there comes a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah,
Yeah, for cats, you just feed them.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So, now like let's change the topic a bit. So, like, if money was never an option, if money was never an option, so what would you do every single day?
If I didn't have to worry about money, I would probably travel a bit, assuming that COVID settles down and things are back to some semblance of normal. I I'd like to visit as many countries as I can, bit by bit, like not in a fast manner, but slowly. So I would probably spend a little bit of time getting to know my neighbors, because my neighbors are all from different places, so that I could figure out where to go. And I would plan out some trips to go to different places and live where I can to see what I can do in the neighborhoods that I'm in. I'd like to go and help people in other neighborhoods, whether they're um, other parts of Canada where I am, or other countries somewhere else. I like to travel, and I'd like to help people however I can.
Yeah, that's really amazing of you. So like, what would be like the first country that you travel?
Um, well, I'm actually taking a trip. I think I would like to see. Um, I'd like to see Australia because it's far away from me, but I think probably the first place that I would travel would be um, maybe Ecuador, down into South America, so that I could see what's going on down there. I think that's where I'd go first.
No, that's right. So like, why do you want to go to Ecuador?
Um, to be honest, because it's going to be somewhere that's relatively the same temperature all the time. I don't need to worry about different seasons. I'm looking forward to being in a place where it isn't winter. Um, and I'm interested. I'm learning Spanish, so I'm looking forward to going to places where I get to practice it.
Yeah, like Spain is also an amazing place, I guess. I'm not
Yep.
sure, like,
Yeah,
cause yeah, have you visited any country before?
I have. I've visited Spain, and I've been to Italy and Germany. I've been through most of the Caribbean islands that people go to for vacations. So, um, Dominican Republic, and um, I've been to Cuba, and I've been to Jamaica. All those nice warm places. Mexico, and I've been throughout the United States as well.
Yeah, so you're a summertime person. Summertime
I'm
person.
definitely a summertime person.
Yeah. So like, what do you think? Why do you think is the best place to visit for you till like so far?
My favorite place.
Yeah.
Um, I really enjoyed the time we spent in Spain. I haven't been to a lot of places for a long enough period to really get to know them because of the job that I've got. I don't have a lot of vacation time. Um, I really enjoyed. I did a house sit in Mexico, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm thinking that that's probably where I'm going to spend some time as an expat after I retire. Probably take up residence in Mexico.
Like, I haven't visited any country yet, so that would be like a great place to visit. I hope I'll visit it some day in the future, because
Yeah.
like I'm also I also like traveling. though I rarely travel, especially because of COVID. We are just locked.
Yep.
Yeah. So how do you feel like is this COVID and you're not able to travel or do anything almost?
Um, well, to be honest, I've liked the fact that I can work from home full time. Made a big difference in my daily life because I used to travel about 75 kilometers each way to go to work. So
Oh my God.
that was 2 hours of traveling added onto my day that I don't have to worry about anymore, which is nice. Um, it's hard not seeing people. It's hard having vacations, traveling canceled, that sort of thing. I definitely am sorry for the people who have been impacted in terms of their health and their jobs. Um, for me, I've been really lucky. It hasn't had a terribly detrimental effect on my family, except that we're all stuck together in the house, and that's never good.
Yeah, that's good and bad. Like everything is good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
be happy when it's over.
Yeah, true. I think so. How many days do you think this will stay?
Sorry, how much?
How many days do you think this will stay?
Oh, wow. I have no crystal ball. I have no idea. I'm
Yeah,
hoping that it's over by the end of this year.
yeah, but even that then that is a very long time. Because
It is.
sure, it's because since last year, from the
Yep.
almost the beginning, we're stuck at home.
Yep.
75 kilometers, as you mentioned, is way long. Like for most people, way
Well,
too long.
lots of people travel, spend a lot of time in their vehicles commuting to work.
Yeah. So what would be your experience? Like let's say, how would you feel if you were able to go to work, uh, uh from by traveling 5 minutes only, like we in the office, not like a home as you are locked.
um, it would be amazing to be able to spend only 5 minutes traveling to work, but it's not feasible for most people in a city.
Okay. So no, cause one thing though, yeah, that's absolutely true. Cause cities are extremely expensive, absolutely true. But as Elon Musk is creating tunnels throughout the city, not in Canada, but I'm pretty sure he will do in all over the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
or not listed, not Elon Musk, but anyone else will, because that's an idea that came in. So people start producing that. So I think in the future it will happen that we will be able to travel very fast.
I think
And
that would be kind of neat. If I could travel 75 kilometers in 5 minutes, that would be awesome.
oh yeah, that's really.
Get my little teleporter.
Uh, yeah, maybe that would not be 5 minutes. I guess at the first, it'll just take some time. But yeah, but it's very less in comparison to what time it takes now. 2 hours
Yep.
every single day. Because two
Yep.
hours is a lot.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do during your travel? So in the 2 hour process, every single day. What
I
did you do in the
usually
past?
listen. I usually listen to podcasts, or I listen to audiobooks if I'm between podcast episodes that I'm interested in. I'll find a book to listen to.
Okay. So what's your favorite podcast?
Oh, don't ask me that. I have too many. And it depends on the day. I listen to a variety of podcasts that are designed to help entrepreneurs succeed, but I also listen to true crime podcasts, and I listen to ones that are just people telling silly jokes. It just depends on the day.
Yeah, let's say you're young again. You are able to meet your younger self. So what advice would you give him or her actually? Sorry.
um, I would say don't give up on your dreams. Make sure that you take the chances when you think of them, and don't let people tell you you can't do it. because you can do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it.
Absolutely. But and it also takes time and be patient, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would be like the biggest myth in your about your industry that you or profession that you wanna like debunk?
Okay, so with that, I think I'll go back to my Beyond Retirement program and that kind of industry in retirement plans. I think the biggest myth is that as people get older, they don't have anything of value to give to society. And I think that our society, the Western society, devalues people as they age. And I think it's time to change that. I think it's time to let everybody know that the people who are getting to what was once called retirement age should be valued for all the experience that they've got, and um, they should be being called on to share that experience more instead of being put out to pasture to read a book and watch TV.
Yeah. Cause yeah, absolutely. Because the biggest asset most people have like as they age is their experience. And
Yeah,
let's say like 2 generations ago, they have a different perspective about the world than what we are now. Yeah, so like that perspective is very different, and we have a lot to learn from it, right? Because
yeah,
back then there was not like there were the people didn't had access to this like they even internet was not invented, let's say like 2 generations ago.
exactly.
Yeah, so like how did they communicate, what problems they faced. Yeah, if we have we can learn a lot from it, like yeah. And and they're like one of they're the most valuable people to learn from it because they have seen it. They have went through that time. And yeah, that's it. That's almost like amazing to like know about them.
Yep.
So like we're almost at the end. So like what's your perspective about the education system, like education system, or like how people is studying?
Um, I think that it's changing a lot since I went through school, and definitely through the years, lots of things are changing. Um, I don't think that the regular education system prepares students now for the kind of life that they're going to have as our world changes. And I think that a lot of things need to be adapted to the way the world is going. There needs to be a whole lot more done towards teaching people how to um, get along with others, remotely as we're doing now. You can't just teach them, math and science and send them out into the world and expect them to know what's going on. There needs to be a whole lot more taught, and I think it's starting to change, but I don't think it's changed enough yet.
True. Because like a number of universities are like opening, online universities are opening right now,
Yeah,
except for like the Harvard Online School. That's
yeah.
different, but like completely unique. Like let's say University of People. Like have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. That sounds
Uh,
interesting.
yeah. So I heard it like maybe a couple months ago. That was for I guess people who graduate high school, that like that's an online college for them, and they can learn without any tuition fees. So like I guess there's a semester fee when they do it. Like I compared to like the big universities, like it's very like almost nothing. Like and they're teaching, and they're non-profit as well. So like that's amazing. So you can learn from there, and you just use it in your real life. And you can use it like learn from anywhere in the world. And you can learn at any time, at what time you want. Like these are not just courses, but people teach it. Like
Yep.
those are like very like interesting changes that are happening in the education system right now. So I think this will, like, we were gonna shift from the normal, let's say, today's, or like the education system of yesterday, but to the future education. Like, I
Yeah,
guess this is like the transition period, because the education system has since changed quite a lot
I
in a
think so.
pretty long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you? Yeah. Go on. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think that people are starting to see that the old standard of education just isn't enough to teach people how to get by in the world today. They've got to change what they're doing and how they're doing it, or it's just not going to work.
Absolutely. Because like the world has changed quite a lot
Yeah,
compared to the world, like compared to the past,
yeah,
and there's everything, like, as everything is changing, so like we also need to change how people are learning.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to share any last words with us before leaving?
Um, I don't think so. I think the only thing that I would say is the same thing that I would have told my younger self, is that, if you've got an idea, run with it. Don't push it back. Don't let somebody think that tell you can't do it, because if you want something bad enough, you can probably make it happen.
Absolutely. If you want something, you can make it happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I missed the word. That's bad enough. If you want, you must want something bad enough so that you can to make it happen. Because
exactly.
if you don't want
Yeah,
it bad enough, you can't. You're gonna lose the motivation.
exactly. You've got to want it badly enough.
Yeah. And it was amazing talking to you. So like, where can our listeners find you, online or offline?
Probably the best place would be on my website, which is www.beyondretirement.ca. That's
Okay.
probably the easiest spot.
Okay. Sure. Like, I'm pretty sure people got value out of our conversation, and yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, and thanks a lot for like joining the podcast session today. Because like your time is valuable, I'm pretty sure, and I highly appreciate it. And that's how, like, we're ending the podcast. And bye to the listeners, and we'll pretty soon upload it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.